In last week's video, I talked about a potential patch where every single character in Smash Ultimate got a buff, which you can actually check out on the card at the top right of the screen right now. But a lot of you guys requested that I do the exact opposite and talk about a potential patch where every single character gets nerfed, where Sakurai has had enough of our complaining and he's nerfing your main. So today I'm going to be talking about that. Now keep in mind that I am talking about nerfs for bottom tiers, so a lot of those will be kind of a meme. The characters don't need nerfs, that's super obvious, but we're going to talk about it anyways and talk about some of their strongest tools that could potentially be nerfed for being annoying or anything like that. With that also in mind, only about 10% of you are subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 50k subs during the summer, that would be awesome. So you helping out and supporting that way would be great, especially because YouTube revenue kind of doesn't exist right now, so really the only reason I'm making these videos is so that you guys enjoy them. So I guess there you go with that spiel. With that all said though guys, let's get started. As always, for some general explanations, with a lot of the top tiers I'm going to be giving them a lot more nerfs, and a lot of the bottom tiers are probably only going to be getting one nerf, and it's probably going to be a pretty small one, so there we go with that. Starting off with Mario though, I think he's a pretty dang good character, but he does have some pretty nutty moves. Now, two in particular. First off, his up B. This thing, honestly, you can just make it a little bit worse by making so that it comes out slower. It's just not that busted, but it's a pretty annoying up B out of shield tool. And yeah, he has a lot of other options, but like, why does Mario really need it? He doesn't really. And secondly, his back air. This move is nutty. This move kills, this move combos, this move's safe. You can use 2 out of a short hop, out of a back air. It leads to a grab, it leads to everything. It's everything you need. So honestly, probably just make so that you can't use it as much, make it a little bit less safe, and that's really all you need for Mario. You know what everybody hated about Donkey Kong in the last game? He had the up throw up air. The cargo throw up air. And you know what he still has? Sometimes you can still kind of get that. So as a potential game designer, I'm removing 100% his cargo throw up air. Now, don't thank me. You could thank me later. Other than that, he honestly doesn't really need that much nerfs. I think he's a pretty fine character. So there you go. Okay, you want to know a dumb move on all the links, and I'm just going to mention it on Link because I feel like they're the ones that have some more specific moves I'd nerf. His side B, all of their side Bs are so dumb because they're actually so safe on shield. Like, you can side B, you're up right next to your opponent's shield, you hit it, and then like it's safe. And then you can follow up with stuff if you hit it, and if you miss it, or if you just hit their shield, it's still safe. I just make sure that those moves are a lot less safe, like their neutral Bs, like their down Bs, and particularly on Link, I guess I'd say that for him. You know, I will also mention, make his neutral air not like the best move in the entire game. Make so that it can't like combo and kill and edge guard and ledge trap and be used in neutral a billion times. You know, you guys are probably asking for that, but let's focus on that side B. Samus brings up a problem that I just in general have with Ultimate, that being that a lot of defensive characters just have way too good of up B out of shields, and just being able to up B out of shield with essentially no extra frames added is super annoying. Just with so many characters, I don't know why it's in this game. It's so annoying. It gives so many defensive characters that normally are really bad in their shields not that bad times in their shields. It's not amazing, but not that bad. So maybe with a lot of these characters, I just make so that their up B out of shields are just worse, so that their up Bs just take longer to start up and have a little bit less invincibility on them. So I'd probably do that for Samus. I guess as well, her charge shot is just like one of the best in the game and just way better than most of the other charge shots. So make that maybe charge a little bit slower because you can keep its power, keep its damage, but considering how good it is, it does charge pretty dang quick, especially just compared to the other ones. The thing I think most people hate about Yoshi is just his ability to mash, and honestly, if I was nerfing the character, I'd probably nerf that a little bit. Now, you could just say in general, nerf like all of his aerials because they're all actually pretty mashable, make so that they start up a little bit slower and so that they also end a little bit later. But I guess one particular move I'd talk about right here is going to be his neutral air. This thing, you can just neutral air out of shield, and it's busted. You can use neutral air a lot neutral, and it's just a really big, you know, size 14 kicks that does a decent amount of damage, and if you had to nerf one particular move, it'd definitely be that Nair. Okay, so we all know that Kirby is actually a little busted though, because he may be like top 3 worst characters in the entire game, but his down tilt is really safe, and it can potentially trip and lead into throw combos and potential kill combos. So Kirby, I'm sorry to say this, but your down tilt, it's gonna need a pretty hard nerf. We're making so that it's like a lot of the other down tilts in the game, like Heroes, where instead of comboing or doing anything, it just sends the opponent forward and down a little bit. I'm sorry, Kirby, we had to do this to you, but honestly, that's like the only great thing that I can think about nerfing for him. With Fox, I feel like there's quite a few ways that you could potentially nerf him. Now, first off, if you want to make him extremely lame and way less fun to play, you can make so that Nair up smash doesn't work. But like, I don't want to completely remove the funnest part of characters, even though I already have completely removed the funnest parts of characters. It's all in my opinion. But I feel like some of the best ways to nerf him would probably be to just make his recovery even a little bit worse at doing what it needs to do, make the hitbox a tiny bit worse, make so that, you know, maybe starts up a little bit slower, because some of the other Star Fox characters have really bad recoveries even compared to him. And I guess as well, you could make so that stuff like his neutral B is a little more laggy, so that you can camp him out easier if you want to spend projectiles like that and want to make so that he can't. It's already not that amazing, but I think those are two of some of the most fair-ish things you could do for Fox. Oh my gosh, with Pikachu, you can just start wherever you want. This is probably the best character in the game, or one of them. You can make so that his Thunder Jolt is way slower. You can make so that it's like Terry's, where when you shoot it in the air, it actually doesn't go down. Instead, for some reason, it just shoots right in front of him. Wouldn't that be fun? That would make him a lot worse. You could also, you know, potentially make so that his back air doesn't chain into itself a million times and automatically destroy low tiers like that. You can make so that his forward smash doesn't linger quite as long. You could also make so that his Nair combos don't lead into kill confirm, so that they don't have like a free 0 to 70, because they got rid of that on Pichu. So why does Pikachu have that? I don't know. And yeah, overall, you could just start anywhere, go from there, nerf Pikachu. He's definitely one of the most nerfable characters in the entire game, and I feel like you can nerf one aspect of his kit and he'd still be amazing. So honestly, I don't know why they haven't yet. Luigi, I think, is the easiest character to talk about here. All you got to do is make so that his down throw doesn't combo anymore at any percents, and then he'd instantly become the worst character in the entire game. So there you guys go. People really hate Ness, so I'm going to go pretty hard on this character. Now, first off, for his yo-yo, honestly, this move doesn't work half the time anyways, so like, may as well just make it not work. May as well just make so that it comes out even slower. May as well just make so that people can get through it easier on the ledge. You don't have to, but, you know, people hate that move, so there you go with that. As well, his side B, PK Fire, they can make it kind of more like Smash 4, where it's just slower, where it just doesn't work as well. Return it to its former, not that great glory. That could be an option. People would like that as well. And as well, you can just make so that he, like Yoshi, just can't mash quite as hard. You can make so that his Nair comes out slower, make so that his forward air doesn't have as many active frames, doesn't last quite as long. There's a lot of moves like that where Ness can just kind of press buttons and they just kind of work for a long time. And he doesn't necessarily need them nerfed, but I'm sure a lot of people would kind of enjoy that because, yeah, he is a little annoying to play versus. Captain Falcon, you know, there is the meme option where he just makes so that his turnaround backdash is even longer. That would be hilarious because instead of buffing it, they just make it even worse. I would love that idea as far as a troll idea, which they could do. As well, though, I'd say probably the strongest stuff about him is that his neutral air is nutty. You can make so that, you know, neutral air 1 landing on people doesn't actually combo as well. That would be kind of lame, but they could do that. And as well, I think the main thing that they'd probably do for Falcon is make so that his back air doesn't kill quite as early, so that his back air doesn't combo quite as well, so that it just... I guess there's two ways. Either they can make it combo less well, so that it sends even further away, or they can make so that it doesn't kill quite as well. Or they can make so that it does both by kind of changing how its knockback works at all percents. Overall, I think that's probably one of his best moves in this game. And I don't want to nerf him too hard because he's honestly pretty cool, but not that great. Jigglypuff, I think is pretty honest, pretty easy what you got to do. Just revert the buffs that she got in the previous patch with her down air and her side B so that they can't combo into her rest as well. And make so that up air as well doesn't combo into rest as well. The final thing you can do is just make so that rest doesn't kill quite as early. Bring it back to a Smash 4 glory days where it wasn't killing at 120%. And after you do that, you know, she'd be pretty fine. Peach has some dumb stuff. She has some dumb stuff. Luckily, they already nerfed some of it. They already nerfed some of her kill power or whatever. But, like, she still has mashing Nair and downer on your shield. Obviously, that should be changed. She still has the fact that her flow cancel makes all of her short hop aerials full hop aerials. That should have honestly been changed a long time ago. It seems honestly like a bug, so I don't even know what that isn't. And they also have the fact that her turn-ups are just busted. Like, these are 11% projectiles at worst that can also be like 30% that can also break shield potentially with Mr. Saturn. And yeah, she just does so much damage. She's so dumb. You can't camp her out. But yeah, nerfing any of those makes it that, you know, her side B is even less safe, makes it that her turn-ups do just way less damage or are less safe or take even longer to pull out. There's a lot of ways to go with Peach, but she honestly could use some nerfs even at her point. Bowser in this game has a lot of stuff. And a lot of it is not that fun to play against. So here you go with some of my main things I'd say. First off, make so that his up B out of shield isn't nearly as fast. Make so that you can actually pressure his shield and so that it's not like a frame 6 option that just has this giant hitbox. Maybe make so that, you know, from the side it has a way smaller hitbox. You can trade with it or beat him out more. But from above, it's still really good. I don't know. It's just such an annoying move. No one likes playing against that. Make so that the side B as well could potentially be a little bit slower, because like I think it's frame 6 also, and it's just kind of ridiculous. And I guess the final thing is make so that his Flame Breath does less damage, because why does it do 40%, but then you have Charizard that does literally 15%, and they're the same move? That always triggers me. Simple as that. You know, Ice Climbers is kind of busted though, because Ice Climbers has 0 to deaths. Ice Climbers also has infinite damage combos essentially. They have so much stuff going for them. So what I do is just, you know, look at all the Ice Climber tech videos and just get rid of all of that. You know, make them a fair and balanced character. They're too good as it is, so you can do that. Honestly, yeah, they are the best. But they do have some nutty stuff as far as combos go. If you remove those, they'd be extremely lame and lose all their fun, but I think that's the main way to nerf them. If you want to nerf them in a slightly worse way, though, you could potentially just make so that their side B is less safe. I know a lot of people hate having to play against that being spammed all the time, so that can be kind of nice. Or they could just make so that the desyncs don't really work hard as well. That would be also kind of lame, but is a thing they could do. Sheik may sometimes struggle to find a kill if she can't find a raindrop or she can't find a back air, but she still has godlike neutral tools, godlike frame data, godlike combos, and a godlike recovery. So she's honestly still quite good. As far as some nerfs for her though, I think it would probably just be simple put frame data nerf. Some of her moves are just kind of dumb, and while it still sucks for her because like you can't trade like indie moves, otherwise you lose that trade, some of them are dumb. I think the main one I'd talk about is probably forwarder. This thing is super safe. It has a pretty decent range. It's just kind of nutty. It's just kind of nutty. Also, you could potentially say the same thing about her neutral air. Both these just are so safe. And while if she lost them, she'd become like a much worse character. They're definitely the best parts about her. So if she needed a nerf, I'd have to go there first. Even though Zelda's not that amazing of a character, she is super over-centralized in a few of her special moves. And I think that's why a lot of people just don't really like playing versus her, because she uses a lot of them a lot. So I guess the main things for her is, first off, makes it that her neutrally and vulnerability starts out maybe a little bit later, makes it that it also has a lot more end lag, and just so that you can't spam it quite as much, because that move can be a little annoying, a little cancerous. Secondly, makes it that her up B maybe doesn't kill quite as early. That move is a little spicy, and it's not like you really combo into it. Most of the time you just up B out of shield, so potentially also nerf that up B out of shield, because yeah, it's just up B out of shield's lame in my opinion. Third off, we also have her Downbeat. And that move is kind of nutty. I'm completely fine with it staying just as strong, just as powerful, just as far range. Maybe makes it that it takes just a second longer to charge. Not a full second, but like half a second. That could be pretty good. Other than that, I think she's pretty fine where she is. She's just kind of a little annoying. With Dr. Mario being such a bad character, it's hard to say huge nerfs I want on him. But then I thought about it, I'm like, wait, Dr. Mario is a busted character. Like, if he was as fast as Mario, this character would be so dumb, because you have stuff like pills into all his confirms, which you could easily nerf quite a bit. Those are so good. And as well, you have stuff like down throw into down B, killing at 40% off the ledge. What? Get rid of that. You also have down tilt into up B now, and just up B out of shield, which are ridiculous kill moves. Those could all go. And without those, he'd lose all of his cheese, and he'd just be terrible. But, you know, that's how it is. Pichu is the character that got nerfed from top tier, like top 5, to literally mid tier in some players tier list now, like the Buzz. So I feel bad saying any nerfs about Pichu. I feel so bad. They could get rid of completely lightning loops. I think that could be a thing that they could see as kind of an exploit and remove those. But other than that, there's like a 0% chance they nerf this character again. He is already in the gutter. So you know how Falco is kind of carried by one move and really has a one move neutral? What if we made so that his one move, that being his up tilt, actually wasn't really that safe at all? We also made it not combo at all, and we just left it at that. I like to think of a world where Falco doesn't have an up tilt, essentially. That would be a funny world, and also he would be just horrific, but that's what I'm thinking of. Marth and Lucena, Marth's tippers are just too good. Like, when you actually get a tipper, you can kill it like 50%. So let's nerf that. Let's make so that it actually only kills like maybe 10% earlier than Lucena. I think that's pretty fair on all of his tippers. Now as well, for Lucena, stuff like her back air, that move is actually ridiculous. We're definitely nerfing that. Stuff like a forward smash still kills super early. Probably going to nerf that, and maybe make so that it takes a little bit longer to charge her neutral B to break through shields. Overall, she's a kind of nutty character, and by removing those, it would kind of remove her cheese factor. Other than that, though, I think she's actually pretty balanced. Young Link is the most broken character that isn't a top tier. If he had just a little bit more range, this character would be the best character in the game. I'm 100% convinced, but he doesn't, so he can just kind of outrange all of his moves. With that in mind, first off, makes it that all of his moves just have worse frame data because they are ridiculous. Second off, makes it that his neutral B and side B aren't nearly as safe because they're super safe even at close range, and especially the side B. This thing, if you hit it on your opponent, you get a combo. If you hit their shield, it's completely safe, and if you even miss it, it's not that bad. Kind of ridiculous. And finally, makes that his up B out of shield, not even out of shield, just makes sure that his up B in general is less safe, because some characters like can't really punish it if you just up B them on the ground that well, and then you can just keep doing it, and it's hilarious. And you know, if they remove that, I'd be a sad man, but honestly probably should go. Ganondorf is busted. Ganondorf busted. You look at this character, he kills you at 30% with a side smash. that's just not really fair, honestly. Like, I have to get like 100% on him to kill him, unless I gimp him at 10. But I have to work so hard to kill him. So, you know what we're doing? We're making so that Ganondorf's F smash is a lot more in line with a lot of the other F smashes. We're going to make it kill more around like 60, 70, 80%, because I think that's just a little bit more fair. So, you know, it may be how it is, but we're going to be doing that. His up smash is also going to come out a little slower, kill a little bit later, and just kind of bring his kill power in line with other characters, because, you know, it's only fair that that's how it is. I was going to meme with Mewtwo, but he's another character that's like, he could use quite a bit of buffs and like serious buffs, so I don't want to do it too much. The one move that is actually nutty with him, though, is his forward air. If you lose with Mewtwo, you're actually so bad, because his forward air is a carried move. This move is like -5 on shield, I think. It's also like frame 7 startup. It's also a kill move. It's also a combo move. It's also just everything. You can pay your taxes. It can do everything. His forward air is actually ridiculous. If they put this on like a top tier, it would be so busted. But yeah, I'd probably nerf that. Probably makes it that it kills a little later, and so it's also a little bit less safe. Other than that, I can't really think of much. Okay, Roy's dumb. Can we just agree with that? His forward smash kills super early. We're gonna be nerfing that. Also his side B, why does this move kill so early? We are nerfing that. That's not killing until Crumb side B range, going down from a 60% kill move to a 110% kill move. Actually, that's so dumb. I don't know why that happens actually. And I guess other than that, we're removing JoeK. JoeK gone. Sorry, Roy mains, but JoeK too good. There you go with that. And to add insult to injury, we are keeping Chrom exactly how he is. In fact, we were actually buffing his JoeK so that it always combos way easier. So, you know, that's just how it is. Mr. Game & Watch has some pretty obvious nerfs that he could potentially get. First off, up he had his shield, make that like frame 5 or frame 6 instead of frame 3. Also, invincibility comes out way later, and maybe has more end lag when you actually reach all the way in the air. As well, maybe makes it this down air, has a lesser hitbox. It has a decent amount of lag, but it's just the hitbox is from the sides. It's kind of ridiculous sometimes. From there, you could also make this neutral B, shoots a little bit slower so that some characters can actually get off ledge versus it, because some characters just kind of get scummed by that move. You can make so that his neutral air doesn't combo into itself as many times, because sometimes it just does a little too many times. And finally, make so that his up air you can clank with. If he did all that, he would be super less annoying. You could also make so that his smash attacks aren't safe at all, so that they're just like normal smash attacks. If he did that, he would be a terrible character. He'd be like an unplayable character. But, you know, those are the annoying things, so we're removing all of those. For being such a inconsistent character that also needs a ton of buffs, Meta Knight actually low-key kind of busted. First off, I nerf his down B. It's one of those moves that's kind of like an unreactable, go wherever you want move that, you know, there are ways to counterplay, but it is super good. So make that come out a little slower and so that your opponent can see you a little earlier, so it's easier to shield. Also make so that his side B and neutral B can't kill nearly as early off stage. I feel like those are the main nerfs room, because sometimes you can still get cheese kills at like 40, 30%. If you can just like up air string your opponent off stage. Yeah, removing that would kind of make so he doesn't have anything. But that's just how it be, Meta Knight mains. I'm sorry, but that's just how it be. With Pit and Dark Pit, it's like hard to say anything to nerf because they don't really have any ridiculous moves I can focus on. All you could really do is just make their moves work less well, which is the lamest nerf in the entire universe. Sakurai needs to fix these moves, not make them less good. But we're just going to say that. We're going to make so that his forward air connects even worse, his neutral air connects even worse, and his up air connects even worse, and his up smash too. So there you go. Have fun with your new, even less consistent Pit. Super fun. Samus is a little spicy boy because she just has a lot of good stuff. It's really easy to play keep away with this character. It's really easy to play campy and also to kind of go aggro. So I guess for some things, there's a lot of different ways that could start off. First off, you could make so that her Zera is less safe. This move is actually kind of ridiculous. We don't see it way too much, but yeah, it's kind of nutty, especially if you want to play a super campy ZSS. Some characters just can't deal with that, and I feel like people wouldn't complain too much about a nerf for that move. Secondly, you can make so that a neutral air is less safe. This move is ridiculous, combos into everything. You could also make so that a neutral air doesn't combo into her down B, or you can by itself make so that her down B doesn't kill nearly as early. They can make so that the spike isn't nearly as good, or make so that it doesn't have you know, its invincibility quite as early. They could indeed make so that her down B is actually just replaced by Mii Brawler's down B, where it's frame 11 invincibility instead of frame 3, also doesn't kill, also doesn't put people in the ground. That's an option, you know, we just want to be fair. Overall, the ZSS has a lot of good moves, and while her grab could still need a buff, you could kind of just start anywhere and start nerfing, and she'd still be a pretty good character, honestly. Oreo's got the super obvious things. First off, you can make this combo games a little bit less good because it's kind of nutty, mainly just by making so that his neutral air doesn't combo quite as well. That would be super lame, but you could do it. As well, I'm going to say the obvious thing everyone's thinking right here, make so that his waft doesn't kill as early. With Rage, this move can sometimes get like Nair up to Waft killing at 40 out the side. it's just kind of dumb. Now, of course, you do have to wait 2.5 minutes for it, but you can confirm instantly into it. Now, the two options you could do here is A, make so that you can't free confirm into it, so like there's no real moves that actually confirm into it because it has more startup lag, and that could be an option, or they could just make so that it kills later. Either of those I think people would enjoy. Making it that you just have to wait longer for it, I don't think is a good nerf, because it just makes it that everybody just camps you out more as Wario, so that would be that fun. But yeah, I think those are two of the main ideas. Make Snake's grenade frame like 3 or 4 instead of frame 1. Makes it that Snake's down B is always seen on the ground, because why isn't it always seen on the ground? Makes it that Snake's up tilt is a lot more punishable, because sometimes just certain characters just can't hit him even when he up tilts their shields. That's kind of disgusting. And makes it that his side B doesn't kill nearly as early, so that it doesn't kill to like 200%, but just tacks on damage when it hits you off stage. With all those, Snake would still be nutty, but only like a high tier. They could honestly just kind of, for Ike, make him like Smash 4 Ike, where he just becomes a mid tier just by making his Nair a lot more like Smash 4, where there's really no confirms out of it, and it just kind of is a pretty good move that you can throw out sometimes. Other than that, I think leave him where he is because he's a really good character and honestly one of my favorite to play. So I'm a little biased. I'm gonna be honest, Pokemon Trainer does have a lot of cheese, so let's just remove all the cheese from all the characters. Squirtle forward tilt no longer has tech chases, no longer can get kills off of that, also is no longer safe. And also we're going to make so that Squirtle side B doesn't have super armor. You can hit him with it. So that would be hilarious. Or we can just make so that's way easier to jump on. The hitbox is way bigger. And also we're going to make so that his throw combos don't work nearly as well. With Ivysaur, we're getting rid of down throw up B completely, even though they already kind of did that, let's be honest. We're making so that downer doesn't kill even as early as it does. It's not even that great of a downer, honestly, compared to Rob's. And we're making so that his up doesn't work nearly as well, so it's not killing as early, and so that it has more end lag and startup lag. So there you go with that. Those are kind of his cheese moves. I guess also neutral air. People always forget neutral air. We're making so that doesn't combo nearly as well. Way more end lag. With Charizard finally, forward tilt, we're reverting the change. It doesn't kill as well, once again. We're also reverting the changes on his kill throws, and essentially, actually, you could just revert all the changes and he's horrible again. And we're also mixing that his back air doesn't kill until like a normal percent. Normally it can kill at like 60. It's kind of ridiculous with rage, but we're having it go back to like a 100% sweet spot back air. I think that would only be fair. Yeah, this character's nutty. So even just nerfing one of the Pokemon could be kind of ridiculous. So with Diddy Kong, I was thinking, this character's pretty balanced normally, but then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, he has the pyramid scheme, and like that's kind of against the law. So we're actually just going to straight up remove that, remove his infinites, and other than that, I think he's actually pretty fine where he is. Lucas is so close to being so fun and so good, but he's just not. But with that in mind, we're going to remove every fun thing about the character. We're going to make so that you can't double jump Zair cancel, because that's obviously not supposed to be in the game. That's an accident. Let's be honest here. We're also going to make so this neutral B is back to Smash 4 where it never kills, because that was super fun. And we're going to make so that his back air is way less safe, because that move's actually kind of dumb. His neutral air already doesn't combo, so I was going to say that, but it already doesn't work. So there you guys go with that. This character honestly needs a lot of buffs, but some nerfs could be kind of funny. Ooh, Sonic. Okay, Sonic, first off, your down B, no longer can you jump out of it. If you press down B, you need to commit to going in, because that's what a true hero does. And actually, we're making it so you could never jump out of it. We're making it a move kind of like Yoshi, where if you press your down B or side B, you're just rolling back and forth. You can't jump out of it. You can't confirm out of it. We're going to be a little nice to Sonic, though. If you hit your opponent or you hit their shield, you can nair out of it, or you can jump out of it. But that's what we're doing for him. Sonic Mage would be so sad. But there you go. Thinking about nerfs for DDD is kind of funny, because he doesn't need them. But first off, we're making that his Gordo comes out a little slower, and we're also making so that it's even easier to hit back. I think that's only fair. I guess as well with this, we're making so that his suck comes out even slower, because why not? And we're making so that his up B actually doesn't have any super armor. Super armor kind of nutty, kind of broken, so we're getting rid of that. If you got rid of all those, this character would be a mess. But yeah, honestly, other than that, I can't think of way too many nerfs, because like he is pretty just okay where he is. Olimar got quite a bit of nerfs, and I think he's actually in a good spot. The only thing that I would personally do for Olimar is actually make so that his neutral B, his pluck, comes out a lot slower, because it feels like when you kill his Pikmin, you should have a benefit for it. But like right now, you kill a Pikmin and he just pulls him back out, and it really doesn't matter. That would be kind of cool as counterplay, maybe buff some of his other moves in response, but that's an actual change that I would really like for the character. That's not a meme at all. Ooh, with the Cario, I feel like he just needs overall buffs on a lot of his moves. But there is one move that's kind of dumb, and that's going to be his Aura back air. This move just like has a huge range, kills super early, is also really safe. It does come out pretty slow, but like other than that, it's kind of ridiculous. I think that's the only thing I'm going to nerf about him though, because he just needs a lot of buffs. Rob is the most just dumb mid tier that somehow became a top tier. First off, his neutral air, that move should not combo as well and be as safe. It's so good. It should not combo to down B into his Joe as well either. So we're just making that not happen anymore. That's just gone. Rob's down tilt, like, why is this a move? We're doing the Pichu treatment or the Kirby treatment. This move is now just a normal down tilt, way slower, and you can only get like one of them. Also, we're removing Nair into side B. We're making side B kill at like 100% instead of like 50% off stage. And the set knockback is just way worse. And with all those changed, I think Rob would be Smash 4 Rob, a pretty average character with no cheese. And I think we could all agree that's where he needs to be. I think the main things with Toon Link is like a lot of the other characters, up B out of shield, maybe make that a little bit worse, because without that, he'd have like no out of shield options at all, so that'd be really funny. As well, makes it that bomb into fair just never works, makes it that the bomb hit stun just doesn't work nearly as well, kind of like with Young Link. And I think those are all the real things you need. I think it's pretty simple with him, and he'd be pretty balanced. Every single overpowered thing I think we wanted to be nerfed from Wolf was nerfed, and I honestly think he's the most balanced character in the entire game right now. Like, I can't think of a single nerf that he 100% needs, which is actually super nice. I think that's actually kind of cool to see. You could potentially make so that his forward smash isn't safe on shield, because that is kind of dumb. That's one of his dumb moves still. It isn't even used that much in competitive play, but it is kind of dumb in casual play. So I guess that, but other than that, like, there's not much to complain about. You know what? Villager's recovery should just be easier to take out, because it looks like a recovery that, you know, you hit the balloons, he should fall to his death, but instead, you hit the balloons and he flies 60 feet into the air and then grabs the ledge. It's so dumb. Makes it that when you hit the balloons, he falls like a rock. He fast falls immediately and he dies, because that would actually give us some counterplay. Other than that, we're not nerfing anything. He's pretty bad where he is. Megaman also feels like he's actually in a really good spot. They kind of removed a lot of his jank overpowered stuff. He doesn't really have any like super dumb combos with a neutral B like he did in Smash 4. He's just kind of okay. The only thing I can really think about him with is just like revert his forward air and back air to their Smash 4 not as goodness, where they just don't kill quite as well, and that's kind of it. I think he's pretty fine otherwise. Wii Fit's trainer is like the most overpowered bad character, if that makes sense. She has like 0 range and 0 way to get in, but if she does, you got Nair into up tilt, you got upper. You have so much stuff, and you also have deep breathing, which is just the best buff in the entire game. I think it's even better than Arsene in my personal opinion, because the speed, the damage, the kill power, everything. So what we're going to be doing is we're making so that deep breathing, you actually can only get 1 per stock. You know, I think it's unfair. And you can just camp it out. So there you go. That's the change for that, because otherwise, she doesn't need nerfs. Rosalina and Luma got kind of like averaged out from Smash 4. Like, they were a ridiculous character. Now they're just kind of like a pretty okay character. So they don't really have any specific overpowered moves that you really need to be nerfed. The only thing about her is that you can make so that when Luma dies, she has to wait even longer to get Luma. I think that's the only nerf that people like wouldn't absolutely hate. So they go with that. Alright, Little Mech, he's bad. He's very bad. But he's also super annoying online because of super armor. So, one change I'm getting to Little Mech, his smash attacks no longer have super armor. You know, they were just a little too busted, so now it's gone. If they removed that, this character would be terrible. But honestly, you can't really do any other change like to nerf him that much other than frame data, which is kind of lame. So yeah, that's what's happening. You know what, Greninja mains? You guys always complain that down tilt into up smash just doesn't work, that dash attack into forward air is just too hard to get. So we're just simply removing them from the game. I think you guys are going to have a lot more fun that way. It's going to be a lot more enjoyable, and you're just going to have to go for not kill confirms like the rest of us. So there you guys go. No, the Miis are kind of carried by cheese, other than the Gunner. Gunner's actually just kind of like an okay character. Don't change anything about Gunner. But with, you know, Sword Fighter, we're making so that Tornado no longer combos into up B. That was a little too good. Or into up air. That's a little too good. And of course with Brawler, we're making so that side B can't cheese kill you at the side. We're making it come out way slower, his suplex, because that was busted. And we're also making so that his up B cannot kill you at 0, the one that goes up and then down, or so that it can't down throw up B and kill you at like 45, the one that goes to the side. So there you go, there's the Mii changes. Palu Shana. Okay. Obvious change, we're making so that her Nair only works once. After you hit that first Nair, it is not comboing it into any more Nairs, kind of like in Smash 4. We're also making so that her back air comes out way slower because it is ridiculous. And even if it came out like frame 10, it would still be ridiculous. Same thing with her dash attack, that's also coming out slower. Finally, I guess we're making so that her back throw kills a little bit later, or instead of that, we could also make so that Her grab, her dash grab, and just grab in general have a lot less of a range so that they're just the normal grab size. So that they're just like a JoeK size. I think that would be pretty fair. Pac-Man, first off, we're starting off with his grab. Make sure that this is just like every other grab in the game where you just grab and, you know, can still have the super long range, but it isn't nearly as active because he actually is like one of the best grabs in the game. It's kind of funny. Other than that, makes it that his neutral air just doesn't like come out nearly as fast, so it doesn't have as great of a defensive option, and makes it that it takes a little bit longer to charge your fruit. I think other than that, he'd be pretty fun where he is, even though he is a little spicy. With Robin, I have two ideas. First off, you could just make so that Robin takes longer to charge a lot of her abilities. You know, I think that would be pretty fine. People wouldn't complain too much, even though it would be kind of annoying for Robin players. Second off, I think that they should actually take Robin's idea of you running out of your abilities and running out of your stuff, like in Fire Emblem, to an extreme. They should make so that once you run out of your tomes, they're gone for the rest of that stock. You know, it would be like how it is in the game, even though every other Fire Emblem character's sword should technically break. But there you go. Overall, I think the mechanic actually is kind of dumb. But yeah, I think that's kind of how it is. One move that actually should be nerfed though is down smash. That move is dumb. It hits behind you, it kills, it covers ledge, it does everything. So there's one move that's actually done that should be nerfed. JoeK is dummy dumb. There's just so much to say about him. First off, makes it that his shield Monado, you can't get out of stuff with it anymore. You just get comboed normally. The hit stun modifier doesn't change at all. You just don't die as late. You could also make so that jump Monado, you don't jump quite as far. It just kind of make it like Smash 4 actually. That would make him a lot worse. And finally, you could return his frame data to similarly to his Smash 4 glory. And there you go, from a top tier to once again a mid tier. That's all he really needs. He's kind of dumb. He's also hilarious to play, and I'm glad he's good. But yeah. Bowser Jr.'s a low tier character with a lot of jank that's actually pretty spicy. We're going to remove his up throw into up air like strings. Those are kind of ridiculous, do way too much damage. We're going to make so that a side B, you actually, we're not going to be as mean as Sonic. We're going to make so you can still jump out of it, but it's also going to have quite a bit more end lag and not combo into moves quite as well because it's going to hit them too far away to actually combo most of the time. And up B, we're going to make so that it actually just never combos into the swing. So if you want to hit the swing, you're not getting a combo into it. You're actually going to have to just completely guess into it. So I think that's pretty fair. And there you go. You know, Duck Hunt, he's kind of nutty. Look at his frame data. It's kind of good, but we're going to leave it as it is. We're going to leave that there. What we're going to do is make Duck Hunt mains suffer even more than they already do. We're going to make so that his up air kills even later. His forward air and back air, if you don't get the tipper, aren't going to tilt to like 250%, which some of you will say that already happens, but I'm going to say that. We're going to make so that his can actually just like doesn't ever kill. It's just one of those moves that has like almost set knockback, doesn't ever kill. And we're going to make so that it also doesn't come out frame 1. It'll come out like frame 5, like a average projectile. Side B also coming out like frame 5. And there you guys go. There's Duck Hunt without any cheese, and I hope you have a lot of fun. Ryu and Ken, like, honestly just revert all their changes and they once again become characters that don't work. Now, if you want to keep them as characters that work, but make them a little bit less spicy, you could just make so that Shoryuken doesn't kill nearly as early. That I think people could kind of agree with most of the time. And with Ken in particular, you can make so that some of his setups don't combo into each other quite as well, or make them more into 50-50s by having different end lag, different startup lag, all that. I think that would be kind of the way to go with these characters. We've seen them absolutely terrible, unplayable in the past, so that could happen again, but I'm really glad that they're not at state. Cloud got a lot of nerfs in the last game, but he still has two ridiculous moves that, in my opinion, going to be his back air and his forward air. These things are like way too safe, especially back air. And back air especially combos and comes out way too fast. So I'm making so the back air is a little bit slower, and so that also it doesn't kill quite as well, and so also, you know, it can keep his combo potential. That's okay. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. And other than that, I think he's actually in a really good state, so we're gonna stop right there. Corrin just feels like she just doesn't quite work. Like they just decided Corrin is not going to work in Ultimate, so they don't, which is really sad. But I guess some stuff you could do is make so that the forward smash kills a little later. It can sometimes cheese some stocks. Makes so that neutral air like Ike's, because it actually is really similar to Ike's. It's actually amazing. Makes so that it just doesn't combo. That's a thing you could potentially do. And finally, makes so that her back air is a lot slower, because actually that move is ridiculous. And makes so that it has a lot more startup lag, because then it'd be easier to get in on Corrin. Yeah, I don't really want any nerfs to Corrin, but there you guys go. I think Bayonetta is like the most hated like mid-tier character in this game, because like she's not that amazing and you can't just hold shield and you can't just wait, but like if you don't know how to play her game, it is just not fun like at all. So honestly, some nerfs for her makes that her side B just isn't as fast, makes that it's easier to punish and easier to play around, makes that her combo game just gets nerfed even more from the last game. I don't care how you do it, just make sure that it happens. And yeah, she already has bad kill power, so that's kind of it. She is just like not that fun to play against, so I think those are the main things. Inkling is, I think, like Wolf, where he's actually in a super good spot. But what you could do is make so the up throw upper just doesn't work on any character. That would remove a lot of their kill power and make them just a lot harder in a lot of matchups. That could be a potential option. Already I think, a pretty skill-intensive option to have to go for, but you could remove that. And makes it that their back air isn't quite as safe. I don't want to make it too much worse because like they kind of need a nutty move to stay in top tier and to stay where they are, but makes it that it's just like maybe comes out a bit slower and has a bit more end lag, so you maybe couldn't do like 2 out of a full hop or like 3 out of a full hop, I guess. Other than that, I think Inkling's in a pretty good place because everything else already got kind of nerfed, which was a little ridiculous. Ridley's neutral air it's kind of ridiculous when you look at it. It's like it comes out really fast, it has a lot of range, has a lot of damage. It's just a really good move. And overall, Ridley has a lot of good moves, except for that he's just like a little too light. So you could nerf his frame data, but I think that would be kind of sad. And he's already in a good place. So instead, I'm going to be doing what already doesn't make any sense. We're making Ridley even lighter. Think about that. I think that could actually help. I think that would make perfect sense because it already makes so much sense that he's lighter than Samus. Why? But anyways, yeah, he's becoming lighter. He's becoming like as light as Cloud or even less. So, that'd be so dumb, but that's what's going on. With Simon and Richter, all I'm doing is making so that you can just get up and shield the Downbeat. And that's it. Because that would remove so much cheesy ledge traps. And that would make people have a lot less annoyance of them. And that's it. Nerfing bottom tiers like K. Rool is once again very, very hard. But for him, I guess the main thing would just be make sure that a super armor isn't quite as long. Sometimes he can super armor through moves, and maybe we just make so that he doesn't have any super armor at all. So it's a lot more similar to a lot of the other heavyweights. That could be a potential option because you can't really nerf his frame data because it's already horrific. So, you know, super armor, it's kind of cheap, let's be honest, kind of cheap. So that's going away. As well, you could potentially make his crown actually have a little bit more startup and end lag, like when he's throwing it out. People still sometimes complain about it in certain matchups. That's kind of it. He doesn't really have anything else he could talk about. You know, Isabel's rod, kind of nutty. Like in the other video, I talked about making it be able to grab through shield. But honestly, I think we should go the other way around. I think we should make so that it doesn't grab people even more often. You know, it already like doesn't work sometimes, but we should make so that like if your opponent's like I can't even think. It just doesn't work half the time. So we're making it have an even smaller hitbox. There you go. That's pretty balanced. And we're also making so that it doesn't kill ever. Because, you know, grabs shouldn't be able to kill. I think that's only fair. You know, Corn's up, though, doesn't kill to like 250%. So, yeah, we're doing that with her throws, with her side B. And I think that would be a pretty balanced change for Isabel. Because otherwise, there's just not much you could talk about because she's a pretty honest character now. Cineroar, if he was fast, would be a top tier, but he's not, so he's not. But he has some top tier moves, so we're going to be nerfing those. First off, his neutral B has way too much invincibility, is giant, and comes out super fast. So make any of those worse, that would be pretty good. We can make so that his recovery doesn't have super armor, make it super easy to beat. It already is, but you could do that if you wanted to. Makes it a side B doesn't have as many active frames, or so that it comes out slower. That could be a potential option. Or makes it that any of his frame data is worse, because actually it's ridiculous. He has so much range and so much power on all his moves that actually also combos really well. So he's actually a great character. He just is slow. So there you guys go. Pretty much nerf anything. On a plan, there's one simple change we're going to do to him. We're going to make so that his Patui you can clank with super easily with like every single move. So you just throw out a move and it's clanking, and you can actually, if you clank, then go through and hit him. So you can just like nair through it and then hit the top of Piranha Plant. If they did that, this character would be terrible. But it's the move that everyone hates, so we're saying that. JoeK, of course, has the meme option of just remove Arsene, but I'm not going to say that. One thing I will say is that they could potentially make it harder to get Arsene, even from what it already is, so you have to take even more percent, so you only really get it at super high percents. You could also get rid of some of his drag down combos. That would be kind of lame, but you could do that. Or finally, just make so that his bear isn't quite as safe and isn't quite as spammable. It's just kind of like a Mario-like move where it just does a little bit too much. Other than that, I think he's actually a pretty alright honest top tier until he gets Arsene, so you know, that's kind of how it is. Okay, it's actually super easy to think about nerfs for Hero because while he does have, like, in general, a pretty bad neutral with most of his moves, most of his A moves just, you can't really nerf them because they're already not that good at all. His B moves are nutty. So first off, make sure that side B takes longer to charge, is more reactable, and so you can also duck under it easier with certain characters, like the second charge side B. That would be hilarious. Make sure that his neutral B doesn't combo as well because sometimes it could actually get some nutty combos. Make sure that his down B takes way longer to get, like, to bring up and to also to jump out of or to shield out of. And you could just like look at a lot of his down B moves, because a lot of them are dumb, and just make sure that they don't work quite as well, so they don't kill quite as early, because there's just a lot of them that kind of do. Makes sure that he doesn't shield break quite as easily with a lot of his moves. Like, these are kind of just vague things you can do, but he does these very often. And I guess the final thing is just remove crits, you know? People don't like them, people don't want them. Nerfing those out of the game, I think people actually unironically would enjoy. Banjo and Kaozzie are just kind of like, people don't like playing against them, which is so sad because like it's so cool that they're in the game. It is so cool that Banjo's in this game, but like he is ruined by his playstyle, so it's hard. I guess what you could do is nerf his Downbeat, make so that it is not... Actually, yeah, you can nerf his Downbeat so that it like shoots forward instead of shooting at his weird defensive angle. So it's actually kind of aggressive. Maybe it lasts a little longer, but does that? That could be kind of cool, actually. You could also make so that Wonder Wing isn't quite as active. It doesn't go quite as long. That move's actually kind of dumb. It's kind of ridiculous. And maybe so that down throw is like King K. Rool, where they just make so that it never is a kill confirm, so that like it never kills. Because they did it for K. Rool, so it's only fair that they do it for Banjo too. Overall, actually a pretty potentially cool character that is just kind of annoying because how much he camps. If Terry had like a better recovery and a better disadvantage, and slightly more range, I guess, he would be so dumb. But like he just has quite a few weaknesses, which is fine. But it's fine because he has so many ridiculous strengths. Now, let's talk about those strengths. We can make so that his down tilt isn't nearly as safe. That would be fine. Makes his forward tilt also isn't nearly as safe. Those moves are actually ridiculous. And I think that alone would be pretty solid nerfs. You could also make so that Crack Shoot is way less unsafe. That move's kind of ridiculous. You can make so that you can't do stuff like jab jab into power dunk. That would be so sad. So sad, but you could do that. And I think one of the most fair things is potentially makes that you can't do jab jab into Buster Wolf. That is just kind of dumb. It still makes sense to just forward tilt into that, but like jab, yeah, you know, we can accept that Terry community. And let's just say that's the only change, because everything else you don't want to do because he's such a spicy boy. Byleth actually has turned out to be kind of balanced, but also kind of disappointing for most people, I think. Not way too much interesting stuff going on here. So I think the main thing would just be makes it that forward smash doesn't kill quite as early. Makes it that's not, yeah, just so it doesn't kill quite as early at ledge. I think that's the main people complain about. And other than that, there's not much to say about Byleth. They're just kind of there, and they just kind of do their Byleth thing, and I think they're pretty balanced, but just not that interesting. With all that in mind, that is going to be the most needed nerfs for every single character, in my personal opinion, for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, a lot of these characters, like, they don't need nerfs. Like, they are fine where they are. A lot of the mid tiers, I wouldn't nerf at all. Even, like, high tiers, I mainly wouldn't nerf. Mainly, it's the top tiers. But it is pretty funny to think about, like, what if they did nerf them? Because sometimes, like, Sakurai does nerf bottom tiers, so these, like, could happen, and that's the funny thing and also the scary thing. With that all said, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below what nerfs you would like to see on certain characters that you hate, and if you thought I was right or wrong. Also, tell me down below if there's a certain type of video you'd like to see in the future, because sometimes thinking about ideas for this can be a little hard, and I really like hearing yours. So, press subscribe as always if you want to see more. I'd really appreciate that. The 50K hype train, the dream, is coming. So that'd be awesome. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a smashing day.